This is pre-algebra lesson 5.2. 5.2 is about fractions and decimals. So in your notes, I want you to copy this down. Write fraction, decimal, and percent. And then the arrows tell you how to get from one to the other. So if I want to go from a fraction to a decimal, I do numerator divided by denominator. If I want to go from a percent to a decimal, I move 2 places to the left. So copy that down. All right, so let's do some examples. So okay, last year the girls' volleyball team record was 5 and 8. Write this fraction as a decimal. So 5 out of 8, I'm going to write this as a decimal. So like in the previous lesson, I'm going to do some long division. So I put my denominator out front, and I put the numerator on the inside. 8 cannot go into 5. So I make that a 0 point, and then I add my decimal, and I make it 50. 8 can go into 50 6 times, which is 48. And then I have 2 left over. I'm going to bring down another 0. And then 8 can go into 20 twice. 8 times 2 is 16, and then I have a 4, and I'm going to bring down a 0, and 8 goes into 45 times. Now normally, you'll only have to go 2 decimal places after your initial decimal. So 2 places, so the hundredths place. But I knew this one ended in a nice, neat number, so I just kept it going. So this is 0.625 would be my answer. Now, you have to show the work. If you don't show the work, you'll get it marked wrong. Okay, a repeating decimal. A decimal that has a number or group of numbers repeat without an end. So 2/3 as a decimal. So if I want to write 2/3, I'm going to put 3 on the outside, 2 on the inside. 3 goes into 2, well it can't. 3 can go into 20 6 times, which is 18. I bring down my 2. And then I bring down another 0, and then this is just going to keep repeating and repeating and repeating. So it's 0.6 repeating. You don't have to write both of them. You can just write 1. So that is a repeating decimal. Now, the repeating decimal, a lot of people don't know where that comes from. So if I have a fraction, you don't need to write all this down, just listen. If I have a fraction like 6/10, everybody knows that that's 0.6. It doesn't repeat. So how do you get a repeating decimal is the denominator becomes a 9. So like 6/9, this is where you get the repeating decimal. So anything that repeats has a 9 in the denominator. So let's go back and look at this problem. 2/3. If I change that to have a 9 in the denominator, it would be 6/9. It has a 9 in the denominator, therefore I know it's going to repeat. So anything that repeats, just right here, anything that repeats you must put over 9. So let's say it looks like this, 0.72 with the bar over 2 numbers. That means that it is 72 over, now you just wouldn't put 19 because that wouldn't be a decimal, that would be a number like greater than 1. So it means it goes over 2 nines. If it just is this, 0.6 like we just had, that is over 19. If there's one number on top that's repeating, then it goes over 19. If there's 2 numbers that repeat, it goes over 2 nines. Same thing if there was 3 numbers, like 625, and they all repeated, then you would write 625, and then you would match it up, 999. 3 numbers on the top, 3 nines on the bottom. So that's how you do a repeating decimal. All right, so write 1.325 as a mixed number with a fraction in simplest form. So this probably should be a review, but we all know that the 1 goes first, and then we know that we have 325. Now, I need to figure out what to put as my denominator. So I look up here, I know that this is the tens, hundredths, thousandths place. So I put it over 1,000. So now I have to simplify. So this gets tricky without a calculator. So my 1 stays. So I notice that they're both divisible by 5. So, and then I think, could it be divisible by something greater? So I am going to try, I know they can both be divisible by 5, but I'm going to try 25 because I'm noticing that 325 can be divided by 25. So just think about it as money. 325. If I had $3.25, how many quarters would I have? Well, there's 4 quarters in $1, so that would be 4, 8, 12, and then plus 1 more. So that's 13. And then I have $10, so that would be over 40. So I have 1 and 13/40. So write 2.48 as a mixed number in simplest form. So try this one and then we'll correct. All right, so I'm going to keep my 2, and then I have 48 over 100 because this is the tenths place and this is the hundredths place. 48 over 100, so that equals 2, and then I can divide in half if I want to and get 24 over 50, and then that can be divided in half and get 12 over 25. Or you could have divided both by 4. Either way. So 2 and 12 over 25. That is it for your note.